Okay, hi everybody. Happy Easter, happy Resurrection Day. Got some things here to explain to you about lawful money redemption and forgiveness of debt. Um, in Proverbs 20:10, it says, "Diverse weights and diverse measures, both are alike and are an abomination." Um, a false weight and an abomination to the king, and a just weight is delight. Honesty, trust, honorable, you know, death, debt, doubt, guilt, manipulation. The debtor is the slave to the debtor, the creditor. Section 16. Um, Fractional in Congress wrote remedies, standing law and fully enforceable in Section 16 of the UCC in Congress. I have been tested to the point of breaking point. I have been through hell, people. And I'm trying to get this truth out here to help everybody. Proverbs 20:23 says, "Diverse weights are abomination unto the righteous kingdom, and a false balance isn't good." Deuteronomy 25:13-16, "Thou shalt have not in thy bag diverse weights, a great and a small." 14 says, "Thou shalt not have in thine house diverse measures, a great and a small, but thou shalt have a perfect and just measure thou shalt have, that thy days may be lengthened in the land which the Creator giveth thee. For all that do such things, and all that you do unrighteously, are an abomination to the Creator." This is all talking about money, people. I'm going to get to my point about this. Proverbs 16:11, "A just weight and balance are the Christ. All the weights of the bag are his work." 12, "It's an abomination," Proverbs 16:12, "to kings to commit wickedness. The throne is established by righteousness." Leviticus 19:35-36, "You shall do no unrighteousness in judgment and in weights, or meet yard in weight or in measure. Just balances, just weights, a just ephah, and a just hin shall ye have. I am which brought you out of the land of Egypt." The serpent is the bank. Let me give an example. Eve wasn't true to her husband, and the third party, like serpent, has a lien on her house. Land is stained in this little love feast. It's not the true house. Under the yoke of debt in the banking scheme, I will not bind myself or children to this agreement, or be surety or debtor to anyone. Deuteronomy 23:20, "Unto a stranger thou mayest lend upon usury, but unto thy brother thou shalt not lend upon usury, that the Creator thy Savior may barakah thee, bless thee, in all that you do, that ye set your hand to do in the land, whether thou goest into the land to possess it." In the code of Jewish law, it is unlawful to give a loan with interest to your brother. If he is another Jew, that still is a standing law. There is a clear distinction between brother and stranger. I am not unified with your uniform laws. Me and the Federal Reserve System isn't my brother. By endorsing private credit, you alienate yourself to the Creator and Father and Savior, because you're dealing with an abomination with your hands. It's false balances in indebting my neighbor and children, my future posterity, through this national debt system. And by doing so, you're actually de- declining yourself to be the stranger. You're outside this realm of the Creator's chosen people, known as Israel, or the church, or bride, then being declared unredeemed as a resident alien, the stranger who's among us, Satan. So there is a system of laws that deal with the stranger and that deal with a brother. St. Paul said, "Since we're under grace, do we not obey the law? Heaven forbid. We uphold it in faith and in trust. If we do the law, then bring a condition of peace and righteousness for our land, and our land will be restored. If society is obeying the law, then things are coherent and honorable. Society can last hundreds of thousands of years abiding by the truth. There's symbology about the blood of bulls and goats. The blood of bulls and goats is not redeemable, and those bulls of Bashan being sacrificed on the most high, the highest of the highest true altar. um, the back of the dollar bill is Egyptian gods people, the slavery entrapment system, and they're called bulls of Bashan and stuff in the scriptures. Deuteronomy 15:1-3. At the end of every 7 years thou shalt make a loose, a release, and this is the manner of the release. Every creditor that lendeth aught unto his neighbor shall release it. He shall not exact it of his neighbor or of his brother, because it is called the Savior's and my Savior, me for Sandra Gwen's release, loosing of a foreigner, the mayest exact it again, but that which is thine with thy brother, thine hand shall loose it, redeem it. Chapter 4, Deuteronomy 15:1-4. Save when there shall be no poor among you, for they shall greatly barakah thee in the land which are the heavens have given thee for an inheritance to possess. 6. For as promised thee, thou shalt lend to a nation, but not borrow, and thou shalt reign over many nations, but they shall not reign over thee. See, a true Israelite child or Jewish child is not supposed to have anybody reigning over them. They reign and they rule. Deuteronomy 9. Every 7 years, the law, all debts are forgiven. And the 7 times 7, and they've got the 49th year and the 50th year is the year of Jubilee, and I'm 50 now. Beware that there be not a wicked thought in thy heart, saying, the 7th year of loosing is at hand, and thine eye be evil against thy poor brother, and thou givest not, and she cry unto me against thee, and it will be sin unto thee. See, they arrested me last year to prevent me from getting my inheritance that I worked hard for. Truth that I had worked hard for. And they drugged me and medicated me and messed me up bad. But the enemy and his little scheme did not prevail. Blessing the Hebrew and letting them go free, and not sending away empty handed, but to furnish liberally with thy flock, and out of thy floor, and out of thy winepress, and all you're blessed with, give unto the free. And remember, thou wast a bondwoman in the land of Egypt, and thy Creator redeemed thee. See, they're supposed to give me my gold, the Egyptians, and all that they've stole from me and that they've made off of me. This Federal Reserve System is a private bank, elastic currency, dishonest balance, two different weight and balance, instrumentality of Congress, which actually sanctioned or licensed the feds to break the law by having this dishonest balance. The stock certificate is the bill Federal Reserve note. It's poor fiduciary responsibility in corporation, and they've made you into a corporation through your all caps names, through your registered birth certificates. And those who discovered the truth were written a remedy for relief from this system by Congress to be delivered from this false beast system, the blood of bulls and goats, central banking system, symbolically sacrifice. Life is in the blood, our labor, energy, and wealth. In Hebrew, you've got Aleph and Tau. In Greek, you got the Alpha and Omega. On George Washington's head, you'll see an altar. And when Peter fished all night in ignorance, and Jesus said to fish on the right side, because if you fish on the left side, you're fishing out of the central banking system of labor and blood, bloods of goats and bulls. Your blood and your labor is being given to bulls and goats, and the blood of bulls and goats is not redeemable. It's only the blood of the lambs, like me, and I've been sacrificed. Hebrew 10:4. It's not possible the blood of bulls and goats should take away sin. Usury and law boundary. It's unimaginable that a state can be sold, a state of mind. People who occupy subject to that law boundary are subject to that mental realm. The fact that the state itself could be sold or mortgaged is interesting when you think of redemption. Something that can be redeemed must be redeemed by something that is higher in status than all. And being redeemed in lawful money takes on a new perspective. Chapter 65 in the quoted Jewish law, interest on loans reference a derivation or codification out of the Bible of all Jewish wisdom put in a manual on how to apply the Torah in our lives. So Deuteronomy 23:19 through 20, thou shalt not lend upon usury to thy brother, usury of money, of victuals, or anything that is lent upon usury. Exodus 22:25, thou shalt not be to my people usurers or lay upon him or her usury. See, me and my children were Jewish children. I've always been a believer, and we weren't supposed to have usury practiced on us. Exodus 22:23, if you afflict them in any wise, and they cry to me, I will hear and bring wrath. And look, I have been afflicted because I have been fighting this beast system, and I don't want to commit adultery with the Federal Reserves. I want my lawful money. They arrested me a year and a half ago after I claimed sovereignty. Then when I was locked up, they claimed it didn't exist. They were liars. And I cry out to my Creator and Savior and Heavenly Father, the Christ HaMashiach, to avenge me for the evil that has been done to me, and the torture and the persecution. And I have tried to be set free, and let my children be set free, and I command we be set free, and no longer be bondwomen, bondwoman, me and my daughter are bondmen. I command it. It says on the back of one of my sons' birth certificate, this is surety bond in all caps letter. Means fake, fish, and phony that they created. Dead person corporate. It's evil what they've done to mankind. It's evil. And it's evil what they've done to me. How they've afflicted me. Deuteronomy 23:20, unto a stranger thou mayest lend upon usury, but unto thy brother thou shalt not lend upon usury, that you may be blessed in all thou settest thy hand to do, and to in the land to possess it. Deuteronomy 24:18, redemption from Egypt. Deuteronomy 27:21, cursed be any man that lie with a beast. And I have to get rid of Egypt, and they are a beast. I've been fighting the beast for almost 10 years now. Ever since I met Don Hester and went to prison, and prison means hell. In the scriptures too, people, it's a form of hell. And I've been fighting him spiritually and fighting for my soul to get out of the gates of hell, because they try to make you go into the skin of Satan and take his place in hell. And they're placing hell these fallen angels, these demons, devils. Who is who we the people are? Who are the Israelite children? Law is written for an individual, as an individual apart from others. My author of the law, who wrote the law to bring to redemption. Isaiah 9:6. For unto us a child is born, and the government shall rest upon the great I Am's shoulder, the children of the Christ. And the name shall be called Wonderful Counselor, the Mighty and Everlasting. And the Christ lives in me, Sandra, Gwen, the HaMashiach lives in me, the Anointed One. And I have been crucified, and the Savior's been crucified with me, fighting the devil and the beast. This has been painful, people. Christ is born within you, Paul said. I travail in birth pains till Christ be formed in you. So when you understand that Christ is something that manifests in you, and that we don't look at it, at any man as Jesus or Christ, we don't behold it that way. We behold it as an idea, an image. The perfect spirit man can attain. Oh, the Christ is in you. The perfect spirit man is in Christ. The perfect spirit can attain to, then we see that the government is to rest on our shoulders, and we're responsible in its own honor and establishment, our house, and within our own house. We can't charge usury or have usury practice on us, but you can contract with others of a different house. Deuteronomy 15, 1 through 3. Release year. Nebuchadnezzar captured the mind and intellect of the Israelite captors and political prowess of the Temple Mount. And he saw these people who spoke of ascension and unity. He destroyed the intellectual and political leaders, led them back to uh, the country, and he implemented a polytheistic dementation of the mind and a paradoxic distortion into these people, creating the Jews, and then sent them back into Israel and conquered that Temple Mount again. And there was 11 years of civil war, brother against brother. Now Nehemiah 10 says, signing of the Constitution, these Babylonian marshals in Nehemiah 10, the Pharisees and Sadducees and the Herodian guard, these Tershapha, represented by Nehemiah, means a Babylon marshal. They're going to be in charge of the temple now. So they changed the law and they caused people to sign and obey. This is all with the Tower of Babel. You can't charge interest on a loan to your brothers. Ezekiel 13:18 says, woe to the woman that sews armholes, referring to the judgments they were to execute, is going to come out and be separate and want to be stateless, free as a bird, and be under the protection of the highest. The charges are against this constructive trust that they've made, the deed and dead entity presumed upon me, all uppercase letters. It's called the Nam Dagar, the name of war. So how can you hold me responsible as the trustee of this constructive trust to settle accounts, charge, restore, balance, pay my penance? In other words, let the maker of the liability have the liability. Knowledge and perception is what's in alignment with the divine or with truth. So we can be disillusioned and not be living the true law because of all the lies and fraud we've been under. Even the days of the week and the lunar cycle has even been changed. Like Monday means moon god, Tuesday, what Wednesday means Woden, Thursday is Thor. All the days of the week are named after pagan gods, people. Satan's done a terrible thing to our society. Like, just there's no names in a state. They did it for themselves and posterity. When there's a trust, if there's no name, once you name someone, that trust has a beginning and an end. And my trust and my account has my true name, my Christian name. And just like Nebuchadnezzar went against natural law of refashioned thought system of the week, Israel had set 7 years times 7 release. And if I encounter my brother in the 50th year, there was Jubilee, land given back, the national edict in the 50th year. It kills the idea of any debt. So, Federal Reserve notes system, money is debt, like in the House of the U.S., which is a mortgage on all property. How can you make a loan? It's minus and negative on the equation. It's an agreement of debt-based currency. I am pursuing the perfection of redemption in its processes, getting out of debt-based monetary systems. They shall be, and the Savior and the Creator said, they shall be redeemed in lawful money. The codified section 4, title 12 in 1920, it said, this note shall be redeemed in lawful money on demand. That is the prima facie evidence. On the dollar bill in 1920, it said that it should be redeemable with lawful money. Intent within law boundary, legal tender versus lawful money. There's a video on it. Look up legal tender versus lawful money. Lawful money, the how and the why. I am the innocent trustee, and I'm ridding myself of admiralty contracts and central banking, section 16, Federal Reserve Act 1913, U.S. Code Title 12, USC 411. They shall be redeemed in lawful money on demand at Treasury Department of U.S. Washington District, Columbia, on any Federal Reserve Bank. 12 U.S.C. 411, amended by Act of January 30th, 1934, 48 Statute 337. Numbers 348, shall give the money of them to be redeemed unto Aaron and to his sons. Number 349 says, Moses took the redemption money of them that were over and above them that were redeemed by the Levites. Numbers 351 says, and Messiah gave the money of them that were redeemed. Deuteronomy 7:8, because the king loved you and because he would keep the oath which he had sworn to your fathers, the king brought you out of a mighty hand and redeemed you out of the house of bondmen from the hand of Pharaoh, king of Egypt. Deuteronomy 13:5, redeemed out of the house of bondage and cast evil away from me, the land of Egypt. It's all in 2 Samuel 7:23, 2, and in 1 Kings 1:29, Deuteronomy 24:18, 1 Chronicles 17:21, Nehemiah 1:10, Nehemiah 5:8. We, after our ability, have redeemed our brethren Jews who were sold to the heathen. 1 Corinthians 6:20 says, you were bought with a high price. There's been a bet between Satan and the highest of the high for your soul. Revelations 3:18, I counsel you to buy from me gold refined by fire, to be rich with white garments, the ark of the covenant overlaid with gold. Exodus 25:10, 17. The gift of gold given to the Christ child, the one who's overcome. Frankincense and myrrh and gold is a symbol of purity. Matthew 2:11. Think not that I came to destroy the law, but to fulfill it, the Savior said. Creator, and I say, Isaiah 69, for the coastland shall hope for me, the ships of Tarshish, first to bring your children from afar, these silver and gold with them, for the name, the righteous one, has made you beautiful. 1 Peter 1:6-7, tested, more precious than gold. James 5:1-6, come, weep, howl, misery comes. You lived in luxury and self-indulgent labors which you kept back by fraud. The Savior's talking against the evil ones who have kept us back by fraud. Isaiah 2:7, his children, their land is filled with silver and gold and treasures. 1 Kings 10:2, bearing much spice and precious stone. Genesis 45:24-53, Rebekah, silver and gold and garments. Revelation 21:9, the wall of city, the beautiful walls of the city with precious gold and gemstones and streets of gold, heaven, the beauty of heaven. Isaiah 65, then you shall see and be radiant, and your heart thrill in the abundance and wealth, etc. Genesis 41:42, then Pharaoh took his signet ring and put it on Joseph's hands and clothed him in garments of fine linen and put a gold chain about his neck. Job 42:10, all Job lost was restored. I've been fighting through the fire and the flames. Refiner's fire, my heart's one desire is to be perfect, set apart for you, my King and my Master, my Savior, the Christ within my Hamashiach, ready to do your will. And the will, his will be accomplished. And that will and trust that he made for me will be given back into the kingdom of heaven. Thank you, everybody, for listening. I hope you had a happy Easter, happy Resurrection Day. It's been my birthday. My Savior and I have been ascending and fighting and going through all of the war against the enemy. But I'm an overcomer and I've been redeemed. And I have prevailed, and I have conquered and defeated all of my enemies. For the Christ the Savior lives in me, Sandra, Gwen. Now, I hope all the scriptures I shared help you spiritually to understand a little bit more, make some proofs to you. Thanks. Bye. Bye, everybody. Love you. To all the overcomers and those who've been redeemed, and I hope and pray everybody else can be too.